It's a story you'll only see on Central Texas News Now. As you may know, tampering with mail is a violation of federal law, and dozens of folks in Killeen tell us they have some real concerns about the way they're treated by the Postal Service. As our Olivia Levada reports, since our coverage of this story last week, people have had more to say about mail being left open in mailboxes, mail being delivered to the wrong address, and more.
After we first aired this story, about a dozen people reached out to share. They too have had issues with the same post office.
No matter how many times you've complained about it, and I've been complaining about it since 2009, it continues.
Herbert Vaness Jr. watched Central Texas News Now's coverage about mailing issues in Killeen and decided to share his story.
Supposed to get the check 3 weeks ago Friday. It was almost $13,000. Informed Delivery is an app that tells you what mail is coming today. And I see my check was coming. So I get to the mailbox that evening and everything was there except for that check, okay? And someone else's mail was in my box as well.
And then
3 days later, my wife had a check coming in from work and that showed up missing as well.
He says his check was never recovered.
I had to call the company. They had to put a stop payment on that check. I had to drive to Houston to pick my check up because I didn't trust the mail to drop it in my box.
And he is just one of many. From left open mailboxes to mail delivered to the wrong address. Immediately after we aired this story, more people reached out to share they have also had problems with the United States Postal Service.
I belong to the neighborhood app and also a bunch of different face group apps because of my business. And it's an ongoing thing with all the neighborhoods around. There's a lot of people out there not getting their mail like they should.
And after sending a number of complaints to the United States Postal Service, some neighbors in Killeen decided to take their concerns to their local representative, Congressman John Carter, to see how he could assist. Last week, Congressman Carter shared he sent an inquiry to the Postal Service requesting an investigation and solution. Since then, we've gotten some news. His communications director shares in part, in response to Congressman Carter's request for an investigation and solution for the ongoing missing, damaged, and misdelivered mail, the U.S. Postal Service has begun to investigate these concerns as of last week. Congressman Carter continues to monitor this issue and looks forward to favorable action by USPS to rectify these issues. Vaness is hopeful.
It starts from the top. I mean, if all the carriers are putting the mail in the wrong boxes everywhere and no one's being held accountable for it, maybe they should be held accountable for putting it in the wrong box.
In Killeen, Olivia Levada, Central Texas News Now.
Thanks, Olivia. Although no one has been available to speak on camera, last week USPS officials let us know local postal managers are aware of customer concerns and are committed to making continuing improvements in service. Since then, they've said in part, quote, in our statement, we urged customers to reach out to the Postal Service, which is the appropriate course of action to get their concerns heard and resolved.